It's going to be interesting, Sam, if I actually put this video on YouTube. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm asking the question, what is the nicest gluten-free lager? And to help me answer this question, I've brought along my brother, Sam.
Hello.
How are you?
Perfectly fine and ready to get stuck in to
Excellent.
these delicious looking beers.
I often get asked, are gluten-free lagers okay for celiacs? And the reason I get asked this is because on the back of most gluten-free lager bottles, it says it contains barley malt. And barley contains gluten. Do you want to really quickly explain why it's okay basically for celiacs?
Yeah, so
I'll let you take that one over.
The law in the UK is, as far as I'm aware, and according to Celiac UK, that as long as a product has less than 20 parts per million of bits of gluten, then it can be called gluten-free.
The reason why we can class them as gluten-free lagers is because the amount of gluten is so small that it is classed as gluten-free and considered safe for celiacs to consume.
It's effectively like less than 20 bits out of a million bits. So.
And we have 4 different gluten-free lagers to get through, so I don't want to waste much more time. We have Stella Artois, that's one of them.
San Miguel, looking forward to this one, as it's my favourite gluten beer.
We have Peroni.
And finally, the critically acclaimed Daura Damm.
Brilliant. These are probably the most common gluten-free lagers that you will see in any supermarket.
Yeah.
And just because it's right in front of me, let's start with Stella Artois.
Let's go. One thing I've immediately realised is it has that very typical Stella smell, despite being gluten-free.
Yes.
It reminds me of, oh my gosh, it brings back all kinds of memories. I think what I think about Stella is it's not particularly bitter. This one, it seems very smooth.
Lots of different people drink beer in different ways. Some prefer to drink it out of a bottle and some prefer it out of a glass.
My preference is out of a glass, and I know it's quite popular in hot countries to have like frosted glasses, so it's like super cold. But I know quite a few people who prefer to drink Coca-Cola out of a glass bottle instead of the typical plastic bottle. And I think that's to avoid the effects of the plastic.
When you go on holiday and you have, it's like really hot. Or if you go on holiday.
Oh, holidays.
Holidays.
Remember them?
On a hot day, wherever you may be, a nice glass bottle of really cold Coke is just... Oh. It hits the spot.
Why are we talking about Coke?
Yes, no, these have come out of the fridge. They are cool, which is obviously important. I don't want to take too much time over it because I don't want these to get warm. And there's nothing worse than a warm beer.
Oh yeah, just don't drink at all.
Just don't go there. Just don't go there. Yeah.
One thing that I find also obvious is it's a bit like, I want to say lackluster in flavour. But you see, I can say this from the perspective of someone who normally drinks gluten-free beers. And to me, it's almost like a tiny bit watery. It's lacking a sort of thickness, which is so typical of like gluten-free anything, actually.
It's nice.
Nothing's ever perfect because when it comes to removing stuff, things get more complicated and it's about trying to preserve the flavour. So, for example, decaffeinated coffee is a classic one because, like gluten-free beer, it has a tiny bit of caffeine still in it. Yes,
very small. Interesting though.
But it ruins the... I'm not sure if ruin is the right word, but it definitely has an effect on the flavour.
It's a treat for me, to be honest with you, because I don't drink much. Just leave it there. No.
Let's let that hang. He doesn't drink much.
I quite like that. I quite like leaving that there for a minute. I always tend to opt for spirits. They are that little bit more expensive, and that is something which I think most celiacs will relate to. Whether you have a gluten-free beer, whether you opt for the spirit option, they are that little bit more expensive, whereas your mates may well just be drinking a normal beer, get a pint, and it's the most affordable alcoholic drink out there.
Yep, true that.
Could you imagine living without gluten? How does that make you feel? The idea that's inclusive of
not too bad, because I would really struggle with bread, because
classics. It always comes down to the bread.
To the point where like I think I've probably eaten an unhealthy amount of bread anyway. Jump up, it's
Yeah,
bread.
all the bread,
Go
the
to bed,
pizza.
it's bread.
Yeah.
Take a nap, bread. So
Yeah.
yeah, also for your information, you can probably figure this out. We will be consuming about 2 pints.
Sure.
These are 330 mils, and a pint is about 568. So actually, we'll
I
be
didn't know that.
having.
I'm so glad you knew that.
It's going to be about 2.5 to 3. Well, yeah, 2.5 pints. It might be worth mentioning we're not experts in alcoholism,
Yes.
but it is absolutely essential that everyone watching this, please drink responsibly.
Yes. I'm going to try it from the bottle now. First impression, I think I prefer it from the bottle.
Oh, really?
And the reason why I say that is because the bottle's quite chilled. Do you agree when you drink it from
it's
the
colder.
bottle? It's a little bit colder. So I didn't appreciate that
Yeah,
before.
I hadn't thought about that. If you want to enjoy colder lager, drink from the bottle.
The reason why I don't really go for the beer option is because I must admit for a long time I was put off by including barley, and I couldn't get my head around how does the gluten-free beer have barley in it when barley is one of the grains which contains gluten.
Yeah, and it's also written in that, like, you know, they put allergens in bold.
Exactly.
And so you're looking at a gluten-free beer.
Yeah.
And it's like barley malt in bold. And you're like,
yeah,
what's going on?
Exactly. On the topic of rants, not rants. On the topic of rants.
What? The topic of rants. Why are we discussing ranting?
I don't even know. Why did I say rants?
On the topic of what? What did you mean? So stupid.
Bloody heck.
I tell you what, viewers, it might make it more fun if you drink with us.
That's really tickled me. That has.
Drink along, or maybe don't, because that might be irresponsible. This video, what are we doing? Right. Greg has been.
I just laughed my head off for a good 5-10 minutes because I just said on the topic of rants. So why did I say rants? That has nothing to do with anything at the moment.
I'm desperate for another drink.
San Miguel, hey? Beautiful.
If I was gluten free, this would definitely be my go-to.
I'm going to pour in a glass. We're going to...
Yep, halfway through. Let's go.
Snap! It's going to be interesting, Sam, if I actually put this video on YouTube.
What you just said, this clip is going in the video. Right.
I think, did you suggest making this video? I think he might have actually.
Oh yeah,
this is Sam's idea. This is Sam's idea, and he's been talking about it for a long time. And we just thought, yeah, let's just go for it. Let's just do it.
We were thinking about how we could move on from the Gluten Free Cookies video.
Yes.
Even if like it wasn't like massively popular, because Greg does loads of awesome videos about like.
Thank you.
I mean,
but I wouldn't say awesome.
His bit of
I wouldn't go that far.
His bit of Ishra Gara series is an absolute delight to watch, and Paranormal Gara was spooky. I think what I was leading to is that we're doing this because we have so much fun. Like when we did the cookie video before, it was so much fun.
Yeah, with my YouTube channel, I love doing history and of Gower in particular because that's where we're lucky enough to live at the moment. But at the same time, I am a celiac, and I think it is really important to be open about what I went through. It's nice to put a light-hearted kind of theme on a topic which can sometimes be not great, really.
Pretty heavy.
I say to a few people, when people ask me like, oh, I can't believe you're gluten-free, how do you cope, how do you manage? And in truth, I think one of the hardest bits is kind of like the social aspect. My main job is working in a cafe environment. Like I understand, I know what it's like to be a member of staff and be asked questions like, oh, what's vegan, what's gluten-free, or can I eat this, can I have that? I understand. For me, as a customer going to a restaurant, or if you're meeting up with someone who might not know your celiac disease, it's just that social aspect of trying to explain, oh, sorry, I can't eat this. And I hate being awkward. I absolutely hate it. I'm almost embarrassed by it. But in the end of the day, I know that if I consume gluten, I'm going to be ill and I can't do it. So I feel sorry for chefs and people who are cooking gluten-free meals because they have to go through so much cleaning of an area and so much work to make sure that there is no cross-contamination and things like that. some people are properly really bad with celiac disease, and yet I'm almost too polite to say.
It's like someone who's vegan or vegetarian asking someone to, change their gloves or work in a meat-free environment, isn't it? Basically?
Yeah, exactly. When things got really bad, it coincided with growing up, and I lost a bit of weight.
I guess when you hit puberty,
Yeah.
People start to grow taller. So, we have just finished our second beer, which was a San Miguel. We've got through the Stella and the San Miguel.
Yes.
Now it's time for the third.
Let's go for Peroni. Glass first this time.
Oh wait, we have to spill our mouths. What have you done? Oh, you're such a novice. So, this is Peroni, and I don't really know why, but I am thinking this is going to be similar to the Stella in terms of its sort of thin kind of watery texture. Peroni, let's go.
As Sam said, I think that tastes very similar to the Stella Artois, but what I would say, I think it's a little sweeter. Just a little bit sweeter.
Oh, it is. It's nicer than Stella and not as nice as San Miguel. But I know exactly what you mean. It's like Peroni tastes like premium Stella. Like if you went to the pub.
Interesting, yes.
If you went to the pub and you were like, what gluten-free beers do you have?
Yeah.
And I would expect this to cost like £1 or something more than the Stella Artois.
On the gluten-free topic, I don't know if you agree, gluten-free viewers, that it's just nice to have a gluten-free beer. It's just nice to have gluten-free bread. It's just nice to have a gluten-free biscuit. Although I can sit here today and I can try 4 different lagers and can rate them and compare them and decide which one is the best. But at the end of the day, I would probably just drink all of these if it's what they had for sale in whatever pub bar I find myself in.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so we've just finished, not that one,
Peroni.
And so far we've been on the same level throughout this whole thing, and San Miguel is the out front winner at the moment. We still have our final bottle.
Daura Damm.
Damm.
At least we think it's pronounced Daura.
I did a little bit of research, and this has won so many awards for being like notoriously
critically acclaimed,
good quality gluten-free lager. Lovely. This one, personally, interests me the most. It doesn't look like your typical kind of beer. I mean, I'm so used to seeing San Miguel, Peroni. Interesting branding.
And you have a dark bottle.
Yeah. Whereas, we have our Peroni bottle. And
the San Miguel was interesting, right? Because
I guess San Miguel,
like a bit of a dark bottle, but also it's got this kind of like a golden colour.
Yeah, I find it a bit of a nerd, but I find it very interesting seeing how different brands and how different companies brand their items. Because I can't help but feel like, what was San Miguel's incentive of having a brown bottle? I mean, I know watching films and things, and when you see people drinking, it seems to be from a brown bottle.
Look at our glasses.
Oh, goodness me.
Who drinks lager more often?
Really wasn't expecting that.
It's nice.
I don't know what I was expecting, but this wasn't it.
It's like nutty. Oh, that's nice. There's like this late aftertaste, that kind of almost like an explosion of a nutty, deep, kind of bitter.
I'm not sure I like it.
What? What?
Let me have another sip.
Really dark and really bitter. A bit more like an ale.
Do you know what? I think you hit the nail on the head. If you're gluten-free and you're watching this and you like an ale, I would highly recommend this.
Oh, yeah.
This has got much more of a bitter, stronger taste. Although like Stella Artois and Peroni were kind of like almost watery. Oh god, that sounds dreadful. They weren't that bad.
Yeah, they weren't that bad, but they were notably thinner and less bitter.
San Miguel was so smooth, and it had that lager taste. This stands out in like a different category.
This is almost difficult to compare to the Peroni and Stella.
The world's most award-winning gluten-free beer. And I just said, I don't really like it. That's dreadful.
That's fascinating, actually.
That's really
interesting.
But again, in the end of the day, we all have personal tastes, don't we? Although it's not my favourite, I kind of completely understand why it's the most award-winning gluten-free beer.
It's actually so nice.
Yeah, and this is... There we go.
Like, yeah.
Listen to him, because he drinks beer.
Coming from somebody who drinks beer, well, a lot more than Greg does.
Yeah.
This is really, really nice. I'm having a tough call here between this and the San Miguel.
Really? You think
Yeah.
it's that nice?
It initially has the same kind of thickness and deep kind of tastes as the San Miguel.
For me, personally, San Miguel is the outright winner.
I think...
For me. What do you think?
I think San Miguel is like the golden middle ground, you know?
Peroni. Yes.
It's like you have easygoing, slightly premium tasting,
yes.
thin, not very bitter lager.
Yeah.
On the other like end of the spectrum, really bitter, dark,
Yeah.
quite thick tasting, very nutty, premium, really premium lager. And then in the middle, in the sort of the golden, if you don't want loads of bitterness and
Yes.
you also don't want slightly boring thinness,
Yeah.
you choose the San Miguel. The Stella is just bad.
Just
the
bad.
Stella is...
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but not gonna lie though, this is absolutely delicious.
That does.
Yeah.
I think it's warming on me because that actually tastes quite nice.
It maintains its cool temperature in the bottle, as we said loads of times.
It's like Daura. Damn. Damn, that's good. Is that where they're coming from? I don't know.
It's absolutely delicious.
100% natural
You
ingredients.
know, oh man.
I respect this beer. Me personally, I'm going to do my ratings.
You gonna do it right now?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. I'd go Stella, Peroni. This is going from worst to best. Stella, Peroni, San Miguel. You know, like you just really need a drink. If you really need a drink and you're in a bar and you just had a long week and you just want to have a nice strong beer and you're gluten-free and you're a celiac, go for the Daura Damm. But for pure enjoyment, go for the San Miguel. If you're not into bitter beers, go for either of these two.
If you're after taste and like bitterness, and as a gluten-free person, you really want to appreciate what it's like to drink a lager,
Yeah.
you buy Daura Damm. If, on the other hand, you are also gluten-free but just want a really smooth beer that isn't going to overpower you,
Yeah.
that you're really going to enjoy it,
Yeah.
and that you can drink casually and like have a really nice evening with,
Yeah.
you go for San Miguel.
Basically, in a nutshell, we've sort of come to almost a joint conclusion
Yeah, would you agree with me?
where I don't think it's fair to say there is a clear winner here. I think a lot of the time when you have a lager, it depends on how you're feeling and what do you really fancy. And I think that's something which I haven't touched upon yet. And I think it's just important to, you go into a pub, you go into a bar, and you see, what do I fancy today? It's like, oh, no, I really want, like, I'm gluten-free, I'm a celiac, I want to have a real nice beer. Daura Damm. Daura Damm.
I think it's Daura anyway.
Well, you are like feeling, oh, I really want that nice gluten-free, strong, smooth beer.
Smooth, casual, golden, beautiful.
I personally would always go for the San Miguel.
The San Miguel,
but I respect where Sam is coming from. I know exactly what he means.
The tastiest by far, the most bitter, is the Daura Damm.
I feel as if the colours of each bottle, even the labelling, kind of represent the bitterness. You start off with the white, the clear, the fresh, nice Stella Artois. You're getting a little bit stronger. It's virtually the same green, but we've got a little bit more of a darker label here.
Yeah.
And then we're moving on to
gold.
The
gold standard.
Gold standard, yeah, why not? So we're going up. And then we go to an even darker
flavour.
Viewers, what do you prefer? Do you like a bitter, strong lager? You can go here, and then you can work your way back. Wow.
Whoa.
I was not expecting such a solid conclusion.
Yeah, I think
so. There isn't a clear winner.
We entirely
there isn't a clear winner. What I would say is, what do you fancy? Weak, medium, stronger, strongest. Bam! To that, brother.
Cheers.
Damn.
And to you, viewers.
Thanks for watching.